Welcome to Daily Speak English channel, English podcast for easy English conversation.
Welcome back. You are watching Daily Speak English, and I am so glad you are here right now in this exact moment, because what we have for you today is not just another English lesson. It is a conversation that is going to change how you feel about speaking English, and I mean that. If you stay with us until the very end of this episode, you are going to walk away with real phrases, real vocabulary, and real confidence that you can use starting today. Not next week, not after you finish some big textbook, today. So do not click away. Do not skip ahead. Just stay right here with us, because the people who watch this all the way through are the ones who actually improve. I have seen it happen, and today it is your turn. Exactly. I just want to add, if you skip this video, you will genuinely be making one of the biggest mistakes of your English learning journey. I am not being dramatic. Okay, maybe a little dramatic, but I stand by it. He is very dramatic. Hi, everyone. I am Maya.
And I am Daniel, and we are both extremely happy you are here.
We really are. And before we jump into today's topic, I want to say something to anyone who has been struggling lately. Anyone who feels like their English is not moving, or like the words disappear at exactly the wrong moment, or like you open your mouth and something completely different comes out than what you planned.
Oh, that feeling is so real, and we want you to know that is not a sign you are failing. That is a sign you are learning. And learning is not always clean. It is not always smooth. Sometimes it is awkward and slow and a little embarrassing before it becomes natural.
Exactly. And vocabulary is especially rude about this. One day a word is sitting right there in your head, clear as anything. The next day you need it and it has completely vanished. No warning, no apology, just gone.
Terrible behavior from the word. Honestly, words should be held accountable.
I agree completely, but that is why we keep making these episodes, because we want English to feel close to you, close to your life, close to your ears, close to your memory, not something distant and difficult, something you can actually use.
And with that, no pressure today. You do not need perfect grammar. You do not need perfect pronunciation. You do not need to understand every single word. Just listen, stay with us, let the language come in naturally, because progress is often very quiet. Sometimes it is just a small moment where you think, oh, I understood that, or wait, I think I could say that too.
And those moments are real. They are not small, they are everything.
Okay, before we get into it, we want to ask you to do something for us. If you enjoy learning English through real conversation, please like this video right now. Subscribe to Daily Speak English if you have not already, and press the bell icon so that you get our next video first before anyone else. It takes 2 seconds and it genuinely helps us keep making more of these for you. We pour a lot of love into every single episode.
A lot of love, and also a lot of tea. Mostly tea, actually.
Mostly tea, yes. Okay, so today's topic, and I want to say when Maya first suggested this, I thought, really? This is what we were doing?
He said that out loud to my face.
Because it sounds so simple on the surface, but then we started talking about it and I realized, oh no, there is actually so much here.
What is the topic, Daniel?
Weather. We are talking about weather in English today.
Yes, and I know, you might be thinking, weather? That is the topic? But stay with us, because weather is one of the most useful, most natural, most human things you can talk about in English. It comes up everywhere. With your coworker in the morning, with a neighbor walking past, with the person standing next to you at a bus stop, at a coffee shop, outside a building, in a lift, everywhere.
And the beautiful thing is, you do not need a brilliant sentence to start. You do not need to be clever. You just need something simple. It is cold today. Looks like it might rain. That is already a real conversation beginning.
Because the alternative is walking up to someone and saying, hello, please share your deepest emotional problem with me.
Which I do not recommend, especially before coffee.
Probably not before coffee, no.
Start with the weather. Much safer for everyone involved.
So in today's episode, we are going to talk about weather the way real people actually talk about it. Not like a textbook list, not like a vocabulary exam, like two people having a real conversation. We will get into weather and mood, weather and personality, weather and daily life, and why weather makes such perfect small talk. And we will also do a proper word tour later in the episode where we look at some really useful weather words, idioms, and phrasal verbs. So you do not just hear them once and forget them, you actually remember them and use them. This is going to be a good one. And here is today's question for you. We want you to answer in the comments below. What kind of weather do you love most? And what kind of weather changes your mood immediately? Maybe you love rainy afternoons. Maybe you love bright, cold mornings. Maybe clouds make you feel peaceful. Maybe heat makes you exhausted. Maybe wind ruins your entire personality for the day. Also, completely valid. Wind is very disrespectful. We will get to that. And tell us what the weather has been like where you live lately. We love hearing from different parts of the world. It always amazes us, honestly.
It really does. Okay, so weather.
You know, Maya, I think weather might be one of the only topics in the world that almost never fails as a conversation starter.
It really is. You can say something as simple as, bit hot today, and somehow that is enough to get people talking. Because it is shared. It does not matter who you are, what you do, how your day is going, we are all under the same sky. That is the whole magic of it.
And shared things are easy to talk about. You do not need background information. You do not need to know someone's life story. You just need, honestly, a basic relationship with the air outside.
A basic relationship with air. That is the lowest possible requirement, and yet it is very useful. I try to be practical. And that is why weather works. It belongs to everyone. Rich, tired, late, overdressed, underdressed. It does not matter. One sky, one conversation starter. And people talk about weather constantly. Come rain or shine, by the way, is a great phrase. If something happens come rain or shine, it means it happens no matter what, especially no matter what the weather is doing.
Exactly. People complain about heat, notice the wind, comment on the cold, mention the rain, come rain or shine. Weather never really leaves daily life. And I think that surprises English learners sometimes because they think, oh, weather talk sounds boring or too simple.
But simple is not the same as useless, not even close.
Simple topics are often the most human ones. They help people start, and sometimes all you need is one tiny comment. Looks like it is overcast today.
Yes, overcast means the sky is completely covered by clouds, not one or two floating around, more like one full gray layer sitting over everything.
And that already sounds like a real sentence. It does not sound like a classroom. It sounds like a person standing near a window in the morning.
Which is the whole point. Good weather talk is not about sounding impressive. It is about sounding normal.
And normal is so underrated in language learning. People think they need a special sentence. What they actually need is a natural one. Not, the atmospheric conditions are currently unstable. No, please no.
Absolutely no one wants to hear that.
Just, looks like rain. Much better, much more alive.
Weather is such a gift for learners. It gives you an easy first sentence without making you feel like you need to perform.
It gets the door open. And once the door is open, something else starts happening too. Because weather is not only about conversation, it gets into your mood in a very real and personal way.
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes I know exactly what kind of day I am having the second I look outside the window.
Same. Weather gets into your body before it even gets into your words. A bright morning does not change my entire life. It just makes me feel a little less heavy. That is all I need.
That is such a quiet and honest way of describing it.
I am not asking for a miracle, just a slightly easier start to the day. But it is true, light changes things. The room feels different, your thoughts feel a little lighter, and the sky brightening up somehow makes you brighten up too.
Brighten up, by the way, means to become lighter, more cheerful, or happier. The sky can brighten up, a room can brighten up, and people can brighten up too. It is one of those phrases that works in more than one direction. And then you get the opposite kind of day. Gray sky, heavy air, a slower kind of mind. Not always terrible, but definitely different. Some gray days feel peaceful to me. Others feel like my motivation called in sick and forgot to leave a message. Very relatable. And it depends on the person, too. For some people, sunshine gives energy. For others, rain gives peace. A rainy day can make the world feel quieter, softer, less demanding.
And that is why weather talk so often becomes mood talk without anyone planning it. Someone says, it feels gloomy today. And what they often mean is, I feel a little gloomy too. The weather becomes a mirror.
Exactly. And then there is that specific kind of day where you are not fully sick, but you are also just not yourself. You are somewhere in between.
That is where under the weather comes in. If you are under the weather, it means you are feeling slightly unwell, tired, or a bit off. Not dramatic, just not your best.
I love that phrase because it sounds gentle. It is honest without being heavy. and people use it all the time.
Weather gives people a soft way to describe how life feels, and I think that is part of why weather is so powerful in conversation. It is not too personal, but it is not empty either.
It is right in the middle, safe enough to say, human enough to mean something.
I remember mornings where the air outside just felt tired, and somehow I felt tired before I had done anything at all.
That is so real. Before coffee, before work, before the world has even spoken to you, the sky has already made a suggestion. Today, we move slowly.
Exactly, but there is something almost comforting in that. It reminds you that your mood is not always random. Sometimes you are just responding to the world around you.
Which is why weather ends up feeling bigger than just a topic. It affects your energy, your patience, your focus, how social you feel, all of it.
And once you realize that, here comes the fun part. Because if weather changes your mood that much, maybe the weather you love says something about who you actually are.
Oh no, here comes the suspiciously personal question.
You love it too, do not pretend.
I do, I genuinely do. Okay, go on then. What kind of weather feels like you?
Rainy day, no hesitation. Give me gray clouds, a little wind, a warm drink, and absolutely no reason to be anywhere in particular. Just a window, a thought, and time.
That is not a weather preference. That is a full personality profile.
It might be, yes.
But it does fit you. Rainy weather feels thoughtful, calm, a little deep, but not heavy. Very Daniel.
I will accept that. And you?
I love a brisk morning. Brisk means cool and fresh in an energizing way. Not freezing cold, just lively enough to wake you up properly.
Yes, brisk is such a good word. It has energy in it.
A brisk morning feels clean to me, like the day has not had time to make a mess of itself yet.
That is...
Autumn people and summer people do not have the same inner world.
Not even slightly. Summer people arrive like, let us go outside, move, glow, exist loudly. Autumn people arrive like, please pass me a coat and something meaningful to think about.
Painfully accurate.
And winter people are a whole different species.
Very serious tea energy.
Extremely serious tea energy. But that is what makes this topic so alive. You ask someone what weather they love, and they end up telling you what kind of life feeling they love too.
It sounds like a light question. It reveals something warm and real.
And then, of course, we have to talk about the other side of weather. Because for every poetic weather person, there is also a human being carrying a jacket they do not need at 2 p.m. and being very frustrated about it.
Ah, yes, the inconvenient side.
The deeply rude side. Muggy weather is genuinely one of my personal enemies.
Muggy means warm, humid, and sticky in an uncomfortable way. It is the kind of weather that makes everything feel harder than it should.
You step outside for 5 minutes and you feel like you have already lived an entire day. You have not even had lunch yet. You are just done.
That is exactly what muggy does to a person.
And then there are days that are just completely unpredictable. Unpredictable means hard to guess because it keeps changing.
Which leads to that very specific experience of carrying sunglasses, a jacket, an umbrella, and a deep sense of personal disappointment all at the same time.
I had a day like that recently. Cool in the morning, warm by noon, windy by 3, sunny by 5. I spent the whole day carrying things I no longer believed in. That is such a dramatic and perfect description. I was suffering. Quietly, but completely suffering.
And summer has its own specific problems, too. At some point, the entire day becomes about trying to cool down. Cool down means to become less hot. And in real life, that means shade, cold drinks, fans, air conditioning, or standing in front of an open fridge like it is going to solve something.
Genuinely valid behavior. Heat makes people creative in strange ways. And wind is its own special kind of rude. It looks completely harmless when you are inside. Then you step outside and it is immediately making decisions about your hair, your bag, your clothes, and your dignity. Your dignity always goes first. First and fastest. And umbrellas suffer the most. One strong gust and your umbrella looks like it gave up on life before you did. A broken flower of disappointment. That is what it becomes. Such a poetic way to describe failure. I try to honor these small tragedies. And rain has its own comedy too, especially when you leave the house feeling very confident because your weather app said sunny all day. False weather confidence, one of the saddest kinds. I have absolutely been that person. Left the house certain, returned 10 minutes later looking like life had corrected me firmly and without apology.
A very familiar look.
And that is the thing about weather. It creates these tiny dramas that almost everyone understands immediately. We have all been caught in it, dressed wrong for it, slowed down by it, emotionally affected by it.
Which is why weather is not just useful, it is relatable. And relatable things are powerful in conversation because they connect people.
And this is where it becomes especially helpful for English learners. Because weather does not demand a clever opening. It just needs a normal one.
Hot today. Lovely morning. Bit windy, isn't it? Looks like rain. Those are already doing the job.
And if you want to sound a little more natural, you just add one small human thought after. It is so hot today, I cannot think properly. Or, lovely morning, makes me want to stay outside a bit longer. Or, bit windy, isn't it? I nearly lost my coffee. Yes, that sounds so much more real than just naming the weather and stopping. You want to sound more like a person and less like a weather app. A strong rule for life and language both. And I love those hopeful small talk phrases too. Like, maybe it will clear up later. Clear up means the weather becomes brighter because the clouds or rain begin to disappear.
And real weather talk is not about perfect sentences. Real people add mood, opinion, complaint, a little exaggeration. They say things like, "This wind is so rude," or "This heat is honestly too much today," or "The sky finally brightened up. I feel like a different person."
Because that sounds human. It has reaction in it. Real weather talk is usually half description and half feeling.
And small words help enormously. A bit, finally, honestly, kind of. Those tiny words make a sentence sound lived in. It is a bit gloomy. It finally cooled down. It is honestly lovely out today. It is kind of perfect weather, actually.
Those sound like real speech, and people exaggerate just a little, which makes it more expressive and more fun. I stepped outside and immediately regretted everything.
A very natural summer sentence.
Classic. And this matters for learners because sometimes people think better English means more complicated English, when actually better English very often just means more natural English.
Short, expressive, alive. Lovely day. Bit cold. Looks like rain. I'm glad it cleared up. This wind is annoying. That is the rhythm. Not perfect, just real.
And once you start hearing that kind of English, speaking starts to feel less like performance and more like participation, which is always a better feeling.
And there is one more thing I want to say before we go into the word tour. Because weather is not only useful in conversation, it stays with people in memory too, in a very powerful way.
Oh, yes. Sometimes I remember the weather of a moment before I remember anything else about it. The light, the air, the temperature, the feeling of the day.
Weather wraps itself around memories. A rainy afternoon is not just rain. It can become comfort, childhood, a certain room, a certain season of your life.
And a bright, cold morning can become school memories, new beginnings, hope, nerves, all of it packed into one kind of sky.
Which is probably why weather connects people so quickly. It is not only practical, it is emotional.
Someone says, I love rainy days, and suddenly they're not only talking about rain, they're talking about the feeling rain gives them. Their whole inner life becomes a little visible.
And I think that is why weather talk never feels empty. Even when it is light, it still carries mood, memory, routine, comfort, a little.
Or we planned a picnic, but the weather was too unpredictable to trust. Repeat. Unpredictable.
Unpredictable. Now our first idiom, under the weather. If you are under the weather, you are not feeling well, a little sick, tired, or just off. For example, I am feeling a bit under the weather today, so I think I will stay home. Or she came to the meeting, but you could tell she was under the weather. Repeat. Under the weather.
Under the weather. Next idiom, come rain or shine. Come rain or shine means no matter what happens, no matter what the weather is doing, you still do it. For example, he goes for a morning walk every single day, come rain or shine.
Or we said we would meet on Saturday, come rain or shine. Repeat. Come rain or shine.
Come rain or shine. Now our first phrasal verb, clear up. If the weather clears up,
the clouds or rain disappear and the sky becomes brighter. For example, it was cloudy all morning, but it cleared up beautifully by the afternoon.
Or let us wait a little, it might clear up soon. Repeat. Clear up.
Clear up. And our final phrasal verb, cool down. Cool down means to become less hot. You can use it for weather, for a place, or for your body after being in the heat. For example, it should cool down a little this evening.
Or I needed a cold drink and some shade to cool down after that walk. Repeat. Cool down.
Cool down. And those are your weather words, idioms, and phrasal verbs from today.
Pick one or two that felt new to you and try using them in real life this week. Even once. Even in your head. That counts.
And tell us in the comments what the weather has been like where you live lately, and what your answer is to today's question. What weather feels most like you?
We read every single comment. We genuinely love hearing from you.
One last thing before we go. If you watched this entire episode, then you are exactly the kind of English learner who is going to improve. Not because you were special, although you are, but because you stayed, you paid attention, you gave your English time. And that is what actually works. But if you have a friend who keeps skipping English videos, please share this one with them. Because skipping content like this is genuinely one of the biggest mistakes you can make on your English learning journey. The progress is in the listening, and it adds up faster than you think. Like this video if it helped you today. Subscribe to Daily Speak English if you have not already. And press the bell icon so our next video comes to you first, before anyone else sees it. We have so much more coming, and you do not want to miss it. Take good care of your English. And take good care of yourselves, too. I am Maya.
I am Daniel.
And this has been Daily Speak English. We will see you in the next one.